All right, back today for part two. It's a discussion we had yesterday regarding arrest for motor vehicle stops. And I got some questions from not just one person or two people. I got 3 or 4 questions. And, it's easy when I'm in class and those questions arise. I forget to answer the what-ifs and all those things that people think of. But in class, we have a group discussion, and it's discussed, and everything that's brought up is addressed. So I'm going to go over a few questions that I got from some guys, and I'm going to explain where it's coming from, and I'm going to try to show you a few different things. All right, so the one I got was from Chris. I'm going to call you anyway, Chris, if you're watching this. And it said, hey, question for you. On the recent arrests for motor vehicle stops video, a lot of what you're describing seems like you could just arrest for obstructing or hindering correct, ? So, first of all, everybody has to know that obstructing administration of law, that one caveat in there that says like any independently lawful act. Now, I don't have the verbiage up, and I should have done it before I started. That really no longer applies. I believe State versus Camillo, where it was deemed that refusing to provide information is not considered a physical act. It has to be a physical act, running, attacking, intimidation. So you can't just charge obstructing. That independent act no longer applies. It's just old verbiage in the 2C charge. So a lot of guys will be like, oh, well, he was lying about who he is. I can charge him with obstructing. No, you can't. He wasn't obstructing or perverting the administration of law because it wasn't something physical. Now, if the guy ran from you, then that's obstructing by flight. Or if the guy fought you, it's obstruction by, you could charge him with obstruction by physical interference or whatever it may be. Maybe, you're trying to arrest the guy and somebody jumps in between you two and tells you you're not going to arrest him. That's obstructing. But merely anything verbal is not going to be considered obstructing. It'll be hindering apprehension. But the question is what if they're not hindering apprehension? What if they're telling the truth, you just can't find a record on them and they don't know their social security number? I've had this situation occur. We had a motor vehicle stop at night, rear passengers. Both did not know the social security numbers. I could not find any record of them anywhere. They had nobody they could contact. And we ended up bringing them back to headquarters, and we arrested them on that Title 39 charge. And later on, it was discovered that they were telling me who they were. So was there a problem with that? No. You have a video camera rolling with me trying objectively over and over again to try to figure out who these girls are because they're subject to a summons for not wearing a seatbelt. So they're brought back to headquarters. We eventually get yearbooks from the town they lived in and confirmed they were who they were. And one finally got in touch with a family member that brought down some identification so we could issue the summons and release her. So when we came in, what was charged? Were they charged with hindering? Were they lying about who they were? No. They just didn't know their social security number. They were like 19 or 20 years old. They were from a more impoverished part of the state. They were cool. We were cool. We just didn't know who they were. No, but the guys who they were with, there was 2 other guys in the car. They didn't know what their names were. They kind of met that night. It was kind of just a strange situation. So could we charge them with hindering if they weren't? They weren't hindering. So what did we put on the booking sheet? 39-3-76.2F, failure to wear a seatbelt. And if you want to put on there too, 5-25, which is the authority that permits you to make an arrest under the right circumstances, you could do that as well. But you're not going to charge obstructing, number one, ever, for when somebody's just lying to you. That's a rule. And the next thing, it's not going to be disorderly. They're not disorderly conduct in somebody. A lot of guys, I used to hear that when I was at work. Oh, well, the guy lies, me at a stop. It's obstructing, disorderly, hindering. No, it's hindering apprehension. If the person is wanted, or even if they're not wanted and they give you a fake name, but they're subject to a Title 39 violation or a summons, then you would have still hindering, but for the Title 39 offense. So you would charge them with hindering, and the sub-offense would be as such. Let me just make sure the other questions that I had, if I covered everything. I think that's it. I think that pretty much covers everything. Chris, I'm going to call you anyway if you're watching this video. But hopefully that clears things up for what I meant by that. So you are bringing people in when you arrest them on a Title 39 offense under the authority of 39-525 and the offense itself, the statute, until you discover that they are a hinderer or they're not somebody they say they were. That is the charge you're coming in on. Now, when you go back and you roll their prints or find out who they are, or you have them cuffed and they tell you, hey, I'm so-and-so, I have warrants. Then they become a hinderer at that point. You could charge them, obviously, you're going to put in your booking sheet contempt of court plus hindering apprehension as well, if you choose to go that path. But until that point where you discover that person is actually hindering apprehension, the authority to arrest is under 39-525 and Title 39. So I'll try to get back on here tonight and give you another video if I can. I have a few things I have to do, but I wanted to address this so I didn't have to make 20 phone calls to everybody and just get everybody in one shot. Take care.